Spooky pokey. Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a little game called The Apartment 57. Is that an address? Is it a year? Is it the size of my trousers? Well, it's definitely not the last one. I think I'm 34. But anyway, this very pleasant music is presumably not representative of the rest of the game, for I believe it to be a spooky horror game about checking into a hotel and there being all sorts of awful things going on. Press any key to continue. What, like pressing the start key that you gave me at the beginning? Oh, to progress the dialogue. Right, I see. I thought you just put me into some form of loading screen limbo. The evening was rainy and dark. The only money I had left was a few coins jangling in my pocket. Finding a place to stay the night was my only option. A few hours later, I happened upon an ancient hotel. The structure appeared worn out and exhausted, as though it had seen better days decades ago. You wouldn't pick that kind of area unless you had no other choice. I didn't give it a second thought. All I needed was a place to spend the night. Indeed. I've been on some work trips that overran that led to similar situations. Right. Maybe I should have put that sensitivity up a little bit more, but never mind. Right. Evil is among us. Yes. I mean, that's a very brief review of the game, but I do like people who get to the point. There are a lot of missing people. Oh dear. That's less than marvellous. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right. Let's get on with it. What does this lovely man have to say for himself, other than that he is oddly similar in facial features to comedian Dave Gorman and desperately needs to attend the dry cleaner? Good evening, sir. Good evening. What a pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting guests tonight. Are you here looking for an apartment? I suppose so, yes. This old hotel always seems to have an apartment waiting for just the right guest. Is that because it's always empty? Because nobody in their right mind with more than 2 bob in their pocket would stay here? Quite possibly. Here we are, your key. This one's been empty for quite some time. I trust you'll find it comfortable. If you need anything, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm always here to help you. 24/7 reception desk. That is something I can approve of. Yes, indeed. We'll go to number 57. I see. This is the room number of my hotel. What do we have here? A little book, but I can't read the spine. Can I ring the bell? Excuse me. Excuse me. I should like some slippers and a bathrobe. I envy people who have the social confidence to actually ring up room service and oh, I'm not sure your neck's supposed to turn like that. Am I not going back here because of, laws that say I'm not allowed to go behind the desk, or simply because I'm so frightened of that man? I don't know. I think it could be either, or quite possibly a combination of the two. There's nothing under the staircase, and that's a shame, but never mind. Let's carry on with life and pretend like everything's absolutely fine. My goodness gracious. Good afternoon, Dr. Frankenstein. Man alive, can you imagine stumbling back drunk after a night out and seeing that? My goodness, you wouldn't ever see anything afterwards. Apart from that, imagine you'd be quite lucky to get up 2 flights of stairs in the drunkard world, wouldn't you? Alright, number 57, I was going to say, are we already on the 2nd floor? I mean, by American definitions, yes, but not by British ones, because for some reason we can't agree on these numbers. Don't seem frightfully consistent. We don't seem to be able to decide on the name of the ground floor, but we shan't worry about that. Okay, so the ordering of the numbers is just complete and utter rubbish. Okay, I can live with that. I didn't seem to have a sprint, judging by the shift key, so I'm not doing anything, I mean. So we're just going to have to do this really rather methodically and just wander around until we see if we can find the right room. Goodness, these little wooden plaques remind me of certain sort of homeware shops that you go into from time to time, and then I like that they've actually rendered quite a bit of world outside. I like that attention to detail. except that the window wouldn't be that close to the edge of the building, but never mind. We're not here to talk about architecture. We are here to have the pants scared off of us, as some people like to say, although I don't really know what sort of jump scare would actually achieve doing that. But never mind, possibly one involving this fine fellow. You're a tad late for Easter, mate, and I don't want to be associating you with any other types of bunnies. So let's move on. Okay, so there's only 2 stories of rooms, so there's not that many to check. I remember on the games page it said that it was inspired by games such as Fears to Fathom, and that made me feel a bit old, because I remember when the first episode of Fears to Fathom came out and it was just a random indie thing that nobody had heard of, and then, oh, blimey, I'm grateful I can't go in there. Let's hope that this was room 999 and it's just spun round the wrong way. No, it definitely isn't. From the look of that screw there, it definitely wasn't positioned that way. No, reading that made me feel a little bit old, but hey ho. Aha! Here is my room. Let's go inside. Ah, thank you. I feel most at home here. Why is there a painting of a dead man? That's a tad foreboding. Never mind, with a hat stand and a radio and a potted plant. The apartment was very dirty, so I had to clean it up. Oh, did you? I suppose you could do that. Oh my goodness, what is this? This is a clock, perhaps? Does this go, where does this go? I don't really know what this is. Can I put it somewhere or do something with it? Is it rubbish? Does it need to... Oh, it's rubbish. It needs to go in the bin. Oh, it's a tin can. Right, I do not want to know what that is. Can you see a face in there? You see like a dark eye and a dark eye and then a sort of a shape of a nose there and then a little bit of a mouth about here? Or am I dreaming? I might possibly be dreaming. That's the fridge going. In fairness, this is more of an apartment than a hotel room, I must say, given that it's got a little kitchen diner rather than and a full-size fridge as well, rather than... Oh my goodness, the piddle pirates have been through here. That man did say he was here to help with anything that we needed, so I'm sure we could ring him up and say, hey, get your feather duster out and get to work, man. Dear oh dear oh dear. Alright, what else do we have? A bedroom, perhaps? Yes. Yes, indeed. And more rubbish. I must find a mop. Mind you, these are carpets, so these stains are gonna... Oh. Bloody hell. Or bloody bed, to be slightly more specific. I do not look forward to sleeping in this room. Oh my goodness. I've been in some cheap hotels, but this one takes the cheap biscuit, which is probably a blue ribbon or something. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh my goodness, even student digs weren't this bad, and they were awful. I'm so grateful to have escaped that place. Right, never mind any of that. Let's get a magic mop, which will undoubtedly work brilliantly in the solving of this problem. Yeah, see, all you've done there, mate, is just rub it into the carpet. Even if that was fresh as a daisy, this wouldn't really solve the problem. But hey, am I paying money to stay here, or am I being paid because I'm interning as a cleaner? I don't quite know. I don't mop the bed, do I? That would be a hell of a thing. Oh my goodness, there's a creepy picture there. So there's a figure standing behind the little family there between the trees. Most mysterious. Alright, let me check there's no other stains I need to worry about. Are there any stains on the floor in here? Do I need to mop the walls? Do I need to mop the shower? I really don't know. Okay, can I put the mop back? Yes, I can. Marvellous. I'm going to wash that. That seems quite reasonable. Can I... it's coming up with an interact thing, except I don't actually seem to be able to do anything. Which is probably for the best, because given the hygiene standards in here, the water's probably full of cholera. Right, may I flush the this? No, I mayn't. Alright, I see. Okay, fair enough. No reflection, as ever. Insert overused, overdone, and uninteresting vampire joke here. You make a cup of tea, perhaps. You can hit the bloody fridge to shut. Oh, they don't shortchange you on the stuff, I'll give them that. Some pizza. I can't have the pizza, but I want the pizza. Alright, never mind. I don't seem to be able to interact with these things, even though various interaction icons are coming up. Maybe I can interact with them later. Right, what else was there of grubby proportions? There's this screwed up bit of paper here, and I dread to think what that was. It was tough. I needed some coffee. It's also tough to see around this microphone. I really shouldn't have bought such a tall one. Never mind. Can I pour some coffee? Yeah, or just some hot water. That works too. Do I not have like some coffee or some milk or hot chocolate or something? No. No. Oh, what do we have here? I have no idea. Oh, it does say coffee. Good. I mistook that for a bag or something else at first. Okay, let's pop that in there. I didn't know you got coffee in bags like that. That's how I associate making tea. Press right mouse button to drink. Where should we drink? Let's drink away from the bloody noise. Let's go and sit on the sofa and watch the boob tube while we drink our coffee. Unless I've got my left and right muddled, which is never particularly far from the realms of possibility, I've pressed the right mouse button and not a lot is happening, so I'm a little bit confused. I know you're tuckered, old friend. I feel much the same way myself, but at the same time, please bring yourself the strength needed to actually lift the cup to your lips. My goodness, this man's not having a frightfully marvellous daisy. Oh, I had to hold it down. I think we've had this problem in games before where I've been pressing instead of holding. I was starting to get hungry. Do I need to make some pizza? Bacon rise. Yes, indeed, right. And I'm not referring to bacon. I'm referring to bacon. You shan't worry about it. Oh, blimey! Somebody wishes to speak to me. Hello, you've reached the call centre. How can I assist you on this lovely Tuesday afternoon? It seems I cannot, unless I'm just here to tell them that their voice is a tad flat for singing. You need to be a little bit more varying in your tone. I needed a plate. Oh, you mean you're not just going to grab it out of the oven with your bare hands? That seems positively sensible. My goodness. There we are. I like to watch TV while eating. This is very a first episode of Fist of Valorant, really. Did I ever tell you a daft story of mine? I was making a pizza in the oven. The TV was not turned on. Yes. All right, there we are. Yes, I was making a pizza in the oven, and what the hell is this? Anyway, I was going out the kitchen and I had the pizza on a plate in my hand, and I went out the door and I slipped and the pizza flew in the air, and in my sheer panic I dropped the plate, but I didn't realise that I dropped the plate because I was so transfixed on the pizza, so I grabbed it with my hand, except it had turned over, and all of the boiling hot tomato sauce that I am so glad I've got this story to tell, which means I don't need to focus on this awful animation in front of my face. Because the pizza had flipped over and it had boiling hot tomato sauce that had just come out of a hot oven, it burned my hand horrendously, and yes, that's the story of how I burnt my hand horribly on a pizza once. Right. I I think we've had quite enough of that. I find old animations like old Disney stuff quite disturbing at the best of times, and that was some sort of old Disney crossed with salad fingers, so I didn't enjoy that. My goodness, you have got a teeny tiny little bit too much detail in your face. And no jawline. But other than that, you're lovely. Now how can I help you, my fine friend? I hope I'm not bothering you. Would it be too much if I asked if you could find some sugar? I just realised I ran out while preparing something small for myself. Oh, and if it's not too much trouble, could you bring it to apartment 191? Just knock on the door and I'll open it. You're the best. Thank you so much. Don't worry about rushing. Take your time. It wouldn't be a catastrophe if I didn't get it, but it would really help me out. By the way, how are you finding this place? It's not exactly 5 stars, but for the price, it's not too bad, right? If you're interested, feel free to stop by later. I'll probably have a bit extra of whatever I'm baking, so I'd love to share it with you. Take care and enjoy your evening. I hope we chat again sometime soon. That was a very pleasant conversation, primarily because I didn't have to say anything, which instantly makes it my favourite conversation because I've got all the social skills of a rabid raccoon. But, alright. Should we see if we can track down some sugar? I don't know. He wishes us to drop a little sugar in his bowl. Except it's dark down there and I can't see what you're doing. It looks like a snake. Right, never mind any of that. I'll stop referencing ancient rude songs and we'll have a look for room 191. Maybe I should have shut the door behind me, but I moved too slowly and I don't care enough. So I'm not really fussed. But let me take this packet of sugar, which looks more like a box of cigarettes, and we'll carry on. You know, but I was going to say that sugar doesn't tend to go in boxes around here. It tends to come in bags, and that certainly reminded me of a daft thing people used to say when I was young, that you should measure things at how much a bag of sugar weighs. You know, you sort of figure out how much something weighs by asking yourself, well, is it more or less than a bag of sugar? I suppose because bags of sugar were probably quite uniform in their weight. Presumably they were sold by, I don't know, a pound or a kilogram or something like that. But I don't know about you. I don't go around picking up many bags of sugar in the supermarket. It's just not really a thing. And when I do pick up something in the supermarket, I just put it in my basket and then go to the till to buy it. I don't really worry about weighing it very carefully in my hand in order to create a mental impression of the weight. But hey ho, some people just don't like using the metric system. Hello? Oh, sorry, yes. Nobody answers, so I put the sugar on the floor. Oh, alright, well, maybe he's having a bath. Maybe it's a cake that takes very long to bake. I don't know, but that's nice. We've made a friend. Isn't that lovely? I'm still there, right? Oh my goodness. Why? On every level on Earth and every level of this hotel, just why? Excuse me, sir. I'm sort of in the middle of something. Sort of in the middle of prattling incoherently about meaningless drivel. Would you mind being ever so slightly quieter? The old banging. That's one of the reasons some people go to hotels. We shan't worry about that. I was feeling tired, but I wanted to take a shower first. Then I took one bloody look at the shower and decided that I'd rather stay frickin' filthy because I'd still be cleaner than if I got in this damn thing. Right, that's where I can throw this. The door was closed. What? Do you mean the door wasn't closed? I'm the only person in the apartment. What am I worrying about? Or am I worrying about, like, the water was cold, and even the light worked when you opened the door. Shall I worry about it? I can hear somebody humming. tunelessly and irritatingly, and for once it's not me. That makes a bully change, doesn't it? Well, I have stood beneath the deluge, and at last, I'm clean. So are all my clothes, because I seemingly didn't change. After I showered, I decided to go to the bed. Indeed. Which is probably even more filthy than, otherwise. Sorry, I thought that image had changed. It hadn't. I thought it changed a picture of a grey skull. But no. It was much the same as before. Everything's still fine. I'm not sure why this is wonky, but we shan't worry about the wonk. We'll just get on with our lives, shall we? Right, only the one pillow. I have to press right mouse button to sleep. I'm sort of grateful that I'm not taking my clothes off to go to bed, because it would probably keep me safe from some of the appalling germs that are in here. I feel like Gordon Ramsay's going to pop in and make one of his Hotel Hell programs with one of his bacteria swipes. Oh. Right. You see, this, children, is what happens if you eat too much sugar. My goodness. No, it's not. You just get diabetes instead, which is also bad, but perhaps not quite as terrible as being eviscerated. I don't know. I haven't experienced both, so I couldn't quite tell you. Oh. Blimey! That's from Fears to Fathom as well. Oh gosh, where do I go back to? Oh, I don't go straight back to the beginning of the game, do I? Oh, I do. Okay, well, I'm curious to know what other endings you can get. I want to know, A, if it is possible to... Can't skip this in any way, can I? No, that's going to be a shame. I want to know if there's anything that I can do differently with the sugar, because he seemed to imply that it wasn't necessary for me to do, so I find myself wondering if it's some form of a choice. So I might see if I can not worry about the sugar and just carry on with the shower. The other thing I want to do, of course, is see if it's possible for me to just not go out the door, perhaps. Because there must be a different ending. If it's describing that as a bad ending, there must be a way of getting a good ending. So there must be some different behaviour that I can take. So give me a few minutes. I'm going to have a wander through and see what differences I can find. Vaguely interesting. So I was wondering if I could do other things instead of getting the sugar. So I tried having the shower, going to bed, and none of that worked. It seemed the only thing I could do was gather the sugar. So I thought I'd come down here and see if I could ask my friendly friend for some sugar. But I don't seem able to do that because he's not here. I've also remembered the box, or almost more of a wooden chest, which is in the bedroom. I don't know if there's some moment when that would become openable, but I certainly can't open it at the moment. So I'm going to have a quick scoot along the corridor and just see if there are any other apartments which are open. I doubt that there will be, but I would feel it to be remiss of me if I were not thorough, if for no other reason than it gives me the opportunity to have a few more moments of peace and quiet before we inevitably get jump scared again. favourite station, Fuzz FM. Well, I couldn't find any doors that I could open. I didn't find any difference in anything that I did, really. So, for the most part, we have carried on regardless. There's this big box here. Mind you, there's no little white circle that comes up to, sorry, I just bashed my knee on the keyboard shelf. To suggest that I can interact with it, because it seems like things that I can interact with, whether now or later, do come up with that symbol. Do perhaps wonder if anything has changed now. At this point, I'm just wandering around backwards and forwards, going back to the door with the sugar and back to the front desk and back to this door, just to see if anything ever changes. And thus far, nothing has, but I'll have one more quick check. Is the sugar still there? Yes, it is. And is my friend still absent without official leave? The answer to that question is yes. Alright, let's shower and sleep and see if we can jiggle our way up the stairs if we can't see anything different after we've caught 40 winks or so. Oh good, I can just spin my head like a bloomin' top. Quite possibly like a character from The Exorcist. I wasn't able to do anything differently after I showered, so that didn't seem to trigger anything being different. So let's try and be careful and thorough. Just see if I've missed anything. This is a bad situation. Can I go back to bed? Nope. Okay, fine. Please stop. You're very creepy. Again, I can sort of click on... Oh my goodness, part of his brain's sticking out. It's acting as if I can interact with him, but I don't know if that's only because I could interact with him when he was alive. So, goodness, I went to bed early, didn't I? The thumping on the door stopped. Open the door and then shut it again very quickly. Well, thumping on the door did stop, but I wasn't able to shut the door again. Okay. I don't know how you get the good ending. I don't really see what it is that I can do differently. I can't find anything extra to interact with, or a different sequence in which I can carry out the events, so I'm a little bit confused, but maybe if you play the game yourself, you can find out how to get to the good ending, and you can let me know if you do. I'd be most interested to find out. But I like this. It's a cute little game. It's relatively simple, but it does what it sets out to do, and it's little and creepy. I don't quite know where they got that bit of footage from the television from. I hope that's not a genuine cartoon from 80, 90 years ago. Otherwise, it's really rather disturbing, and I feel sorry for the kids of 80, 90 years ago. But anyway, I'll try to suppress my hiccups long enough to get through my parting turn of phrase. So I'll say yes, that was quite good. Yes, it certainly was. You can see the inspiration of Fist of Fathom in terms of the little domestic tasks that you carry out, and the narrative by the protagonist, and obviously the different endings, and that you can get murdered in it, but there must be a way of not getting murdered, so that the protagonist can actually be telling their story. So it's good, it's nice, I like it. It made me feel old, but other than that, I really rather enjoyed it, so I hope you did as well. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Look after each other, and good night.